Hello friends, this is part 2 video of matrix visual where we want to show multiple total columns. In the part 1 video, we selected number of months, calculated the average on the total, and then with the most recent selected month, we compared it with the average. In this video, what we're going to do is enhance that solution. In this video, what we're going to do is let user select a single month, and then it will automatically show last 6 months or last 9 months or last 12 months. We can parameterize that as well. And then it will show the average and also achieve, compare the most recent with the average. And on top of that, we will also use some techniques where we are, instead of writing our average calculation at multiple places, we will write it at one single place and then reuse it. Let's get to Power BI, look at part 1 Power BI report and make the changes for this enhancement. So if you remember, if you haven't seen part 1 video, I would highly recommend go check that out. Link will be in the details. So in part 1, so that's what we selected, the number of months, and then we're showing average and the most recent month in case of October compared with the average, and that's all stuff. So what we want is, we don't want user to select all these months. So if user select October, then and we have another parameter, let's say 6 months, and then it should automatically go back from October to the last 6 months and then show that. So single selection, we want to do that. So to do so, what we need to do is we need to enhance our model. So we're going to add new table, calendar table, for the slicer purposes. What we're going to do is we're going to go modeling and new table, and maybe we will call it calendar for slicer or whatever name you want to give, and it will be just a copy of our calendar table. One thing I wanted to make sure, my month column is sorted by month sort, because otherwise it would not show in a correct order. So that's pretty much it. And one more thing we're going to do with this new table is we're going to bring this new table into our relationship here, and we're going to set the relationship date with our calendar table date. Now it is 1-to-1, and automatically it is going to make it as both direction. We are going to make some changes to this relationship. This is not what we want. I'm going to force it, my calendar for slicer will be 1-to-many. So, and I'm also going to make this relationship inactive. I don't want it to automatically filter my calendar table. And I'm going to make this relationship cross filter direction to single. So again, I'm changing relationship 1-to-1. By default, it created 1-to-1 because both sides the date column is unique, and it automatically created 1-to-1 relationship. We are forcing it to 1-to-many. On the slicer side, calendar table will be 1, and the calendar side is many. And also we are making the relationship inactive. The reason we are doing it, that when we select a month from the slicer, it should not automatically filter our calendar table as well. So that's why we're doing it and making it as a single direction, because what we want is only from the slicer table we want to filter our calendar table, not from the calendar table to our slicer table. So that's why we are making the relationship change. So you will see the difference here. So it's a 1-to-many now, and the relationship is inactive, and the direction is calendar for slicer will filter the calendar table. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this page, so we can leave it like as it is, and we're going to call it I'm going to make okay. So I just created a copy of my first page. So a couple of things we're going to change is, the first thing is in the slicer, what we're going to change is this slicer, instead of getting the month from calendar table, we are going to get the month from our new slicer table. So that will be months. I'm going to remove the other one. So that's what we're going to do. And also the year is, I just put it to select here so that we have less number of months to work with. So also it's coming from the calendar table, and we're going to make it to come from our new table. Here you go. So I'm going to make it to, let's select 2021, again the similar thing. And also I'm going to make this month table, one small change I'm going to do is slicer setting, because this is going to be single select, because user will only select 1 month. So user will select August, and then let's say go back 6 months, and that's why we want it to be single select. Now here our calculations are not working anymore because we have all the months selected, which is perfectly fine. And now we're gonna make some changes to our measures, and so that we can work with this new slicer and disconnected table. It's a disconnected in a way that it is connected, but the relationship is inactive. Let's go to tabular editor, and if you remember, we created a CG trend in the part 1, and I'm not going to change it. I'm going to create a new one. Control C, Control V. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to call it CG trend new. But we have 2 calculation items. Here is one is trend, and the trend in what we're doing is if has one value calendar month, and then we're just using the selected measure. So what changes we're going to make it? First of all, we need this selected measure. If there is a one single month, how many months back we want to go? Let's store that in a one variable, number of months. We can actually make another measure and a so-called what if parameter and take it from there, but let's assume we are doing it for 6 months. And then what we're gonna now what we have is we need to find out the current month which is selected on the disconnected slicer table. What is the maximum date in that is? So let's say max selected date is max of this new table which we created, calendar for slicer and the date. So this is our last date, and then we go back 6 months from here. How we can do that? It's pretty straightforward. Let's do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our calculate selected measure wrapped into calculate. So what we're saying here is if a month is visible, then perform this calculation. Calculate selected measure. Keep filters, because we want to make sure that we have a filter row level filter context. And there are many videos I did on keep filters, so do check out the importance of this particular function. So I'm not going to explain it here. And then we're going to take advantage of dates in period function. This is a time intelligent function. So what we're going to say is in our calendar date table, our starting date is max selected date, and then go back X number of months. So that's number of months. And then we're going to give the interval, let's so that it's easy to read, which is month. Let me explain what I'm doing here. So what I'm telling here is whatever the measure I'm looking at, if a calendar month is visible, which is on the matrix visual, then in that case take the selected measures. Then this is what we're doing is creating a range, dates in period. So starting from the maximum selected date, so let's say in the slicer if August 2021 is selected, so I'm getting the maximum date is 31st August 2021. So I'm saying in my calendar table, which is my actual calendar table, on August 31st 2021, from that date go back 6 months, and the interval is month. So this will give me actually months. It will give me from 31st August go back, which will be the 1st of February, and that's the date range we are getting. And then we apply, if I don't use the keep filter, it will give me the sum of all those 6 months. If I'm using the keep filter, it will give me the sum of that particular month. So let's see how does this first apply this change and see what happens. So go back. I think I have to change the precedence because we can't have the same precedence. So CG trend has a calculation group precedence 21. When I copied, it keep the same precedence, and both two calculation groups cannot have the same precedence. So I'm going to change it to 25. It can be any number. So okay, so this change we applied now, and it will ask us to refresh. So we're going to refresh our model here. No change yet so we are seeing all the months, and the reason why there's no change because we are using CG trend name, but the changes which we made is the new calculation group we added, which is CG trend new. So we're going to remove the name here and add the newer one from the newer calculation group, and then drill down to the next level because we want to see. Here you go. So what we are seeing here is September, October, November, December. So what it is doing is it's going forward from the selected month. We want it backward, and the reason behind that is because we said 6 months. It's a positive number, then it's going forward, but we should be doing -6. So thou should do it. So once these changes are implied here in our, here you go. So September is our most recent, so we have selected one single month, and then September, August, July, June, May. So this is 6 months, right? So that's what we are getting here, and this is working perfectly fine. So we are going back. So now let's just test. If I select December, it's showing me December. Is this average changing? I don't think so, and we know the reason behind that because we just made the change to the trend calculation item, not to the average item calculation item. So what is in the average? Let's go back and take a look. So in average, we are doing just the selected measure, so it is giving us all the period. So the same calculation what we did here, we need to apply that calculation in our average measure here as well. So let's format the whole thing. So calculate average measure. So and let me come back to this, and first let's see if it's working. Here you go. So the average change. So now this is 379. Let's go to October. The average should change. So now the average is changing based on these 6 months. Okay, so let's go back to calculation item first to understand what's happening here. So what we're doing is, so I think this is clear. We are finding the range based on the month we selected, how many months back we want to go, what does that range look like, and then we are using keep filter. If we don't use the keep filter, then all these columns will show the same value, right? Because when keep filter is basically applying May 2021 filter on the measure June 2021, July 2021. If I don't use keep filter, it will show the sum of all those 6 months. So which we don't want that, and that's why we're doing the keep filter. And then if it is not a month, if we're not at the month, it means we are the total level. Then whatever the visible months are, the 6 month again, because that's what we know, and we are calculating the average on top of that, and that's what it is working right now. So this first part is pretty straightforward. Now it's working. So what we need to do is now we need to make the change to this part. So what that change is going to look like, let's go back to our what we did in the past in the previous part 1 video. To calculate the current month, what we used is we used the Windows DAX function. In this case, we don't need to use that, and we have now better solution. And what that solution is going to be, calculate selected measure, and then we're going to go use relationship from our calendar date, and then our another table for slicer, and take the date of that one. Let me explain what we're doing here. So previously, to get the most recent month, we took the Windows index function and then took the most recent month because sorted by descending, and took that value. In this particular case, the most recent month is whatever the month is selected on the slicer. And since calendar table has a inactive relationship with the calendar for slicer, we can take advantage of user relationship, and then it should work. Let me show you guys. If I remove the average code from here, and it will show us the most recently selected month. Let's apply this. So if you go back here you go. So what we 6 is 4692233. Again, that is what is the most recent month, October. Let's say if I select August, my selected month is August, and now my most recent month selected month is we can actually change it to most recent selected month versus average. It's a little bit more clear then. And now so whatever the month I'm selecting here, I'm getting going 6 months back from that, giving us the average, and then this is giving us the most recent month. Again, why the user relationship? I just want to go to the relationship diagram. So if you remember, we created this relationship, and calendar for slicer is filtering the calendar table. It's an inactive relationship. When I said use relationship, it made this relationship active. So if October is selected, it is filtering our calendar table for the selected month on the calendar for slicer. So everything is flowing nicely here. And let's go back to our measure here. So we're going to go back to average here. And what we need to do is average we already calculated. So we'll copy and paste that code here. So just paste it here. So this is our most recent month, and this is our average for the selected month. And if now we apply the changes, some error. What is the error? Resolve name max selected. Okay, so we have some variables here which we need to use. So I'm gonna bring the whole code here. Okay, apply. So it should work now. Beautiful. So now we have December sale. This average sale of last 6 months is 434, and whatever the delta is, and then we can again add the percentages and various variance percentage and all this stuff. Now this, if I select any other month, it should work. Couple of enhancements we can do in this. First thing is we have fixed it to 6 months. We can have a what if parameter instead of having the fixed value. We can take the value from the parameter, and then this can go back to 9 months, 12 months, 3 months, 2 months, whatever you want. So single selection in the parameter, in the what if parameter, how many months you want to use, and then this will enhance accordingly. The one thing which I didn't like about this whole thing is, if you look at that, we are like dates in period, we have one calculation here, and we are repeating the same calculation here, and then when we go to the most recent, we have calculation here, and basically the same calculation is done at the 4 different places. So this can, if we have to make any logical change for whatever the reason, it means we have to make that change to the 4 different places, and that can lead to some errors. So what we can do is we can really actually enhance on that one as well. In the part 3 video, we will do that. What we will do is we will enhance this functionality, that we don't have to do the calculation at the 3 different places or 4 different places. Average is done at the 2 places, and the number of months what we want to see on the visual based on the slicer selection is done at the 4 different places. Can we improve on that? Can we have the calculations at one single place, and then we can reuse those calculations, so that if tomorrow we make any logical change, we make it one single place and it is propagated to all the places. So stay tuned for part 3 video. Do check out the part 1 video. I will post the link in this description of this video. Do check out Windows functions playlist as well as calculation groups, which is very, very powerful. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Again, as I said, tons of videos are coming, and please share with your network. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye for now. Thank you.